Apple unveiled the long-awaited iPhone 14 and Apple Watch's Series 8 at its 2022 Far Out event earlier today. I spoke to some Apple fans to hear what they think of the new products. Apple in Silicon Valley continues adding new features and tech to its product lineup. The newest upgrades include emergency services and increased tracking tools. On Wednesday, Apple showed a trio of new Apple Watches Series 8. The Apple Watches focused on communication, productivity, fitness, and a temperature sensor that can track women's ovulation. The Cupertino-based company introduced a new model at $799 for extreme sports and diving.
And the remarkable Apple Watch Ultra, an entirely new category of Apple Watch with its rugged design, long battery life, and breakthrough technologies, is the most capable watch ever.
Some Apple fans are looking forward to the rugged device.
I thought that was really interesting, the new Apple Watch that they released for extremes, like extreme temperatures, like very high or very low, like we are in the heat wave now. So they released one that is for people that do triathlon, Ironman, diving, like go to the Mount Everest and things like that.
The new watches, starting at $499 with cellular, can also detect if the user has fallen or been involved in a serious vehicle crash. It can then call emergency services as well as notify emergency contacts. It's based on GPS and AI. For runners, the watch can track routes and pace runners against their previous times.
And that's what Apple's always been really great at, is just everything works together so seamlessly. And so whatever you need, you just pick up an Apple device and it just, you know how to use it because it works with what you already have.
Hicks says he's excited about the new iPhone 14.
I think the biggest thing coming is that satellite feature that everyone will be able to access for emergency texting is really, really great.
The phone has the ability to connect to satellites when cell or Wi-Fi service isn't available, but only for emergency situations. The new iPhone 14s are ditching the physical SIM card tray, and instead, users will need eSIMs, a digital SIM to activate cell plans.
All of my products, technology products, are from Apple, so I'm a little nerd about it.
Apple also said that its second-generation AirPods Pro will double the noise cancellation from the original version.
There was a lot of rumors that Apple may be raising their prices because of supply chain issues and inflation, what have you. And one small but pleasant surprise from today is that they didn't. They kept the same prices as previous years. So I think some people will be relieved.
The iPhone 14 Pro will start at $999, and the iPhone 14 Pro Max starts at $1,099. Pre-orders start on Friday. David Lamb, NTD News, California. Along with limiting electrical use, Southern Californians are being asked to limit certain water usage. That's as repairs need to be made on a major water pipeline to the area. Here's a look at what watering is being asked to stop.
More than 4 million residents in Los Angeles County are being urged to suspend outdoor watering for 15 days. Starting on Tuesday, the Metropolitan Water District began repairing a leak in a major delivery pipeline. The repairs became necessary after officials discovered a leak in the 36-mile upper feeder pipeline earlier this year. It delivers water from the Colorado River to Southern California. Municipal Water District General Manager Adele Hajkadil said the temporary fix we have in place has allowed us to operate the pipeline at a reduced capacity over the summer, but it's not intended to last long term. Residents and businesses throughout the county are being called on to temporarily suspend all outdoor watering, including drip irrigation and hand watering. The water company recommends that trees and gardens be pre-watered before the shutdown and maintained using water collected from the sink and shower.
From fires to hurricanes, folks in Mexico and Southern California are keeping an eye on a developing storm, Hurricane K. Hurricane K is a Category 2 hurricane right now, and it's expected to bring strong winds and heavy rain across the Baja California Peninsula over the next few days. The National Hurricane Center says it could make landfall late Thursday. The area could get between 6 and 10 inches of rain, with some parts getting about 15 inches. Parts of Southern California will likely see rain from the storm this weekend. The raging Southern California wildfire continues to spread and evacuations are underway. NTD's Jackie Rios spoke to a CAL FIRE Riverside PIO for an update on the situation.
A deadly wildfire in the city of Hemet in Riverside County continues to rage out of control. Lives have been lost, several properties have been destroyed, people have been evacuated, and schools have been closed. We talked with firefighters to learn more about the Fairview fire. Rob Rosine, PIO for CAL FIRE Riverside County Fire Department, said the fire started on Monday around 3:40 p.m. According to latest reports, it covers 7,000 acres and is 5% contained and has so far spread rapidly. Rosin said that so far 7 structures have been destroyed and there has been loss of human life.
So far, we have had 2 fatalities as a result of this fire. There's also been 1 victim that suffered burn injuries. That's the extent of our fatalities and injuries at this time.
Rosin said that although the cause of the fire is under investigation, California is no stranger to droughts and fires. But with the recent heat dome cooking California for the past several days, it leads to a prime fire situation like the one in Fairview. And to battle the blaze, responding firefighters carry supplies to last them for 24 hours.
Those packs can weigh up to 40 pounds, and they're carrying those on them during the entire firefight. So it's an extremely physically demanding job, but our firefighters are up to the task.
With over 3,400 homes in the impacted area of the fire, Rosin had the following message.
So it's very imperative that when we have these kind of fire events and there's mandatory evacuations issued, we need folks to heed those evacuation warnings and orders. It can be a matter of life and death.
Firefighters from all over the region continue to battle the Fairview fire from the ground and in the air in an ongoing effort to increase containment lines. Jackie Rios, NTD News, California.
Speaking of crimes, a trend on TikTok has led to thefts of certain cars to nearly double in Los Angeles compared to last year. The theft uptick is likely due to the ease of stealing certain new models from 2 brands of cars.
As a result of a social media trend, Kia and Hyundai car thefts are up 85% from last year, according to Los Angeles Police Chief Michael Moore. Moore told the Los Angeles Police Commission that he, quote, believes it's influenced by this social media challenge. The viral videos, which have been spreading on TikTok since May, show people how to break into Hyundai and Kia vehicles made between 2010 and 2021. Those cars were targeted because they lacked an ignition immobilizer system. According to the LAPD, no ignition immobilizer system leaves cars vulnerable to hot wiring. Moore is asking residents with affected cars to install a steering wheel lock to provide a deterrent. Other cities have been impacted by this trend as well. In Chicago, authorities reported a 757% increase in Hyundai and Kia vehicle thefts.
In the woods of Northern California is an outdoor cider bar run by a family for over 140 years. NTD's Eileen Eng hears more about them apples from some family members who run the apple farm.
Along a highway road cradled between fruit orchards and vineyards stands a cider tasting bar. The smell of fresh apples and joyful chattering fills the air. Gowan's Heirloom Cider, a family-run business about an hour south of Fort Bragg, has been flourishing since 1876. Fifth-generation farmer and cider maker Sharon Gowan says they recently opened up the outdoor cider bar during the pandemic.
We started making hard cider about 10 years ago. Some of our hard ciders won best in the world's largest cider competitions. And we were super excited. We got to open up an outdoor tasting room 2 years ago during the pandemic. So people can come and try our cider from our taps and our bar and sit amidst these historic trees. And it's lots of fun.
They're not very soft. They're pretty hard, but they're sweet and they're tart.
Sharon married into the family 30 years ago and has 2 sons, who are the current 6th generation. The 200-acre apple farm has over 100 different varieties and about 11,000 trees. The family continues to harvest apples from some of the exact same trees as their ancestors, some being 150 years old.
In the 1990s, we had some researchers that came by, and they were shocked to find out that we had this apple. It's called the Sierra Beauty apple, and they thought it was extinct. They'd been searching for it for decades.
Native to California, the Sierra Beauty has good acidity, natural baking spices, and is sweet, making it a desirable apple for pastry chefs.
The fun thing is that we've been able to bring in so many different kinds of apples from all around the world, and if apples are happy in one kind of climate, they're often happy in another.
They also have Macintosh from Canada, Granny Smith from New Zealand, and Astrakhan from Russia. The farm also grows pears and figs. Their fruits are grown organically. Sharon explains how everything stays on the farm, from growing to packaging.
We harvest the apples, we press them into juice, we ferment them and bottle them right here on the same property so nothing leaves. And then any waste, like the pulp after the pressing, we spread that around on the farm so that our native wild bees can also have some of that, and that helps them in the fall to grow. So we hope to not have to bring in honeybees because we've been supporting the wild bee population.
And they're so pretty when you get them all shined up, right?
After picking, the apples go through a machine for washing before it's pressed into large fermentation tanks.
There's a lot of challenges to small businesses, and especially small farmers. I think that looking at what maybe the next thing could be, and for us in our generation, the next thing was doing hard cider, because happily people were starting to wake up to how fun hard cider was. And so I think that's been the new thing that helped this generation keep going. And previously it was taking horses and wagons over to the coast for a day, or driving the new pickup truck across the 10-year-old Golden Gate Bridge back in the 40s, I think that was. So it's everybody kind of looking for how to keep it going and people willing to work together.
They also bottle the cider on site once every few months.
And that's why it's so bubbly.
The current matriarch of the farm is 97-year-old Josephine Gowan. She took some time to share fond memories of her apple picking days.
I had a women's crew of about 16 women, and the men worked in the mills in the forest, and we picked the apples. The women and I picked the apples, and I was a pretty good apple picker.
Now she walks about an hour around the orchard every day. Her favorites are Gravenstein, Sierra Beauty, and Astrakhan. She notes that Jonathan's are great for eating and cooking.
It's an apple that I could use for everything. It fries beautifully. It makes a beautiful fried apple. It makes a good sauce. It makes a good pie. It makes a good eating apple. It doesn't keep real long, but it keeps pretty good.
It's very ripe and it's in season.
The orchard gets lots of help from the young, too. Shalisha welcomes guests at the fruit stand. She cuts apple and pear samples for visitors.
And make sure that the apples are fresh and looking good for the people that come to our tasting rooms. And I also do apple tastings and pear tastings so that people know what they're buying before they actually pay for it.
Shalisha enjoys talking to people, hearing their stories, and learning new things.
I had a guy from Brazil come into our tasting room, and he came and he sat down, and I had these Asian pears. He said where he's from they're called a pear apple, and he said that he calls them papples. And I thought that that was such a cool thing and something so different.
The farm is open year-round. Besides selling apples, cider, and slushies on the property, they also ship the fruits to select markets and schools. Every year, they sell about 10,000 cases of cider. Eileen Ang, NTD News, Philo, California.